Hi, my name's Linda OJ.
And my name's Aaron Espindola.
Welcome to the Next Gen Business Podcast.
Let's go.
The Next Gen Business Podcast is produced by the Small Business Community Network. Visit them online at www.sbcncanada.org.
Hey Aaron, how are you?
Pretty good yourself?
I'm doing good, but I'm going to need a wine later because we've had one obstacle after the other today. And I think that's the obstacle that we're going to be talking about tonight. No, that's the topic we're going to be talking about, not the obstacle. You see, it's just one of those days. The good thing that happened to me today, though, it's our kitten's birthday. Ella, she's 1. So that's kind of nice.
Nice, that's good.
And you were going to tell me about this wine that your brother bought, I think, weren't you, to start off the podcast?
Yeah, so for anyone listening, if they go to the LCBO, I forget exactly what wine bottle it was, but the one that he got, it was like Snoop Dogg on the bottle. And then the lady at the counter told him, like, hey, did you know that this has like an app with a wine bottle? And my brother's like, no, what's the app for? And then she's like, well, if you download the app, point your camera to it, it'll actually start, like, the person will start speaking on the app, like on the photo. And it was just pretty, like, cool phrases Snoop Dogg would say. It's like a cool little party trick, and I'd be like a collector's wine.
So cool. That's where I'm heading after this because I really need a drink after our day. I mentioned that the podcast is all about obstacles and how to manage them and stuff like that. So we've had a flood in the kitchen today. Our internet is broken, but Ella had a good birthday. So I hope your day was better than mine.
Yeah, yeah. My day's been pretty chill today. I just did pretty much homework, went to the gym, and kind of prepared for the podcast now. But
well, that sounds amazing. Thank you. So I guess you've had obstacles, which is why you want to share with us how we can get over the obstacles. So I guess being a young entrepreneur yourself, and also getting your degree at college, how do you overcome obstacles, and kind of what obstacles have you overcome in the past?
So when I haven't got my degree yet, and I'm going to get that this semester, hopefully, fingers crossed. But like some of the obstacles I have is balancing school with like running my businesses that I have. Even though one of them is with my friends, it's still a lot of work to put in, especially during the beginning of spring, just because that's when the one landscaping company starts to pick up traction and that we have to reach out to customers and all that. But that's at the same time when we have our exams to start studying for the semester. So just balancing all that is a lot of work. But I find that for myself, when I deal with, I know myself really well. So when I feel like that I'm being stressed out a lot, I tend to take a step back, just take a position where I'm like, I kind of lower my expectations. I make sure that everything doesn't have to be perfect. Like things, unfortunately, aren't going to be perfect. So that relieves a lot of stress off of me, as well as doing what I can do now. And that's like one of the steps. So when you're facing stress, there's like 4 key steps that I would recommend business owners, even students can use this just to manage their stress out. The first one would be do what you can now and don't worry about what in the stuff that you can't do right now. So a lot of people will get stressed out and anxious over things that they can't even do right now, right? And then that step number 2 is set boundaries. So how much information or news can you handle in a certain day? I know for myself, I try to read everything and I kind of get myself worked up when it comes to, maybe I have a course and I'm trying to read the whole course outline, it is important, and trying to stay on top of your material is really important, but maybe taking it week by week is a little bit more manageable and help you kind of lower your stress levels. So I do that with school, but then when it comes to the company, I try to keep it as simple as possible, just focusing on like short-term goals, and then also have a long-term goal, but not try to micromanage it every single day. Step 3 would be practice empathy. So that's with like working with employees and stuff like that. Just know that they're going through things too, and you might not know what it is, but they're having stress in their life. So you have to be willing to adjust your expectations based on just the fact that they might not be able to. And if you don't, and you still strive for like perfection, that's going to be putting a lot of stress on your employee. That's going to be putting a lot of stress on your group members. So just being able to lower that is going to be a really helpful way to manage that. And then step number 4.
Oh, hang on a minute. How many steps have we had already? What was the first?
So I said 3. So the first one, do what you can, set boundaries, practice empathy, and then step number 4 would be ask for help when you know things are too much. And as entrepreneurs, we're characterized as being people that we take pride in knowing everything and trying to do everything by yourself, and that's something that is really good because we're able to overcome obstacles, problem solve, and all that. But we tend to push ourselves too much, and then we don't like to ask for help. So just being able to recognize when you're kind of going through too much stress and just being like, okay, I need help, or I need to talk to someone about it, just because even though it might make you seem weak, it doesn't.
You stole my steps. I have 6 steps, but they're not the same steps as you. So when I started my motivational speaking business years ago, somebody said to me, you need steps. And I didn't know what steps were because I'd never heard of motivational speaker. So your steps are different to mine. One of my steps is kind of like what you've been saying, acknowledge you have a challenge and know you have to deal with it. So basically, in my case, I had 3 seasons, a TV show on Rogers TV, the small business show. And so I would invite guests on the show and they would turn up or not turn up. So what do you do when you're ready to go on air and one of your guests hasn't turned up? So basically, you have to improvise. So that happened once to me, my co-host. So nobody, yes, the guests have been advertised, but nobody knew any difference. So Steve and I decided to talk about, our particular businesses, and how we dealt with them and how we grew them. And it worked out really good. So we had to think on the spot. Was I stressed about it? No, because in my kind of work, because I travel a lot speaking and have to, jump on the stage and be able to speak. Another one for me would be, if anybody out there ever uses PowerPoint anymore, and they have the slides, not the old-fashioned slides, but the nice new ones you have, on your computer, and they don't work. Don't stress about it. You know what you're going to be. Say you have to do a presentation at college or university. Well, if you've got to rely on your slides and it's not all in your head, so in a case like that, it's kind of what you said, think on your feet, think fast, and say to yourself, it's not the end of the world. But stress is a big thing, isn't it? And I used to be awfully stressed. And then I thought, well, if I go around talking about how to deal with stress and getting paid for it, I've got to practice what I preach. It is important, though, isn't it, to be the people we want other people to be the change that we want other people to be. I would think in your case, it can be quite time consuming, though. As you say, April, you're starting, to start getting customers for your lawn business, your landscaping business. We've also got to concentrate on, your college work. So be very honest. Sometimes one of those may have to go. Would you rather give up a client or give up, your college work? Now, this is a mean question, but this is all about honesty, isn't it? So the people out there know we are human. Which of you had to give up in the past? Because it can't always be perfect, can it?
Yeah. So usually what I end up doing, and this is like the worst thing you can do, is kind of go down on a little bit of both of them, not choose one or the other, just evenly go down. So I would recommend choosing one or the other. But yeah, I tend to kind of slack on my studying for the midterm or for the exams at that point. And then just because it's all really fast and within a month, like you have to get all your clients pretty much for the summer because we start May 1st. And so, yeah, we end up having to kind of scale back a little bit, but it'll be nice this year just because my other partner is actually done school. I'm in full time, but I'm only taking 5 courses, which is really nice. So we're both of us are going to pick up the slack because my brother, he's in 7 courses right now and he's like overwhelmed. So we're going to be able to pick up some of the slack this year, and we're going to be doing some cool stuff. So I'm pretty excited for that.
And it's nice that you are sensible about it, and you take, those responsibilities seriously. Like I say, it's very important. So setting boundaries, you talked about setting boundaries. I think that's very important. So with social media today, and we've all got phones, we've all got laptops, iPads, wherever. Whether you're in an office environment, whether you're an entrepreneur working from home, whether you're in college or university, it's very easy to get caught up in the social media. So and not do the work involved. So I think that's very important. One of the boundaries I think people should say, well, I'm not able to chat to you at the moment because I'm working with clients or something like that. I know that I'm very, very lucky being able to work for myself and not have anybody tell me what to do. But if I don't do my work, I don't get paid. And, a lot of people think, well, Linda's on Facebook, Linda's on LinkedIn, but they don't realise Linda's working. And so I get these little messages and say, do not disturb them. And then people think I'm being unfriendly, but I put boundaries up again. So what else can we do to help ourselves? Like, stress is a big thing, and you've talked a bit about that. I tend to listen to relaxing music, motivational relaxing music, because, we all get a bit tense at times. And I have that on very, low around the house. That helps me. Walking helps me. What do you do, for your stress?
For my stress, I usually take I take stress naps.
I like it. My husband would agree with you. We all need a nap, don't we, Aaron?
Yeah, yeah. When I feel too overwhelmed, for like maybe an hour, I go to sleep, and then I wake up all energized, a little bit grumpy, but usually energized and ready for the rest of the night.
I can't imagine you being grumpy. Dave said that humans are made to work different hours. We shouldn't really be working throughout the day, throughout the night. We should be working periodically and keep having a nap in between. I mean, can you imagine everybody letting us do that? I'm just going to have a nap before I do my exam, or I'm just going to have a nap before I phone my client. But one nap a day is allowed. But if I have a nap during the day, I feel grumpy as well. I don't feel right. And when I'm grumpy, you know it. But no, that's good. What about it? You go to the gym. Exercise, great, isn't it, to relieve stress?
Yeah, exactly. Making sure that you have, because sometimes you get stressed because you have too much energy, and you don't know what to do with it. So it comes out as stress or overthinking. And that's when going to the gym, doing some physical activities, for example, like your walk that you go on, it burns energy. It kind of makes your mind relax a little bit. It makes you all relaxed, and you tend to be a little bit more focused. I think they did a study where if you go for a walk and stuff like that, you come back, you actually focus more on your work, and then you even kind of consume information a little bit better. So sometimes when I have an exam, I'd go like a couple hours before, just shoot the basketball around and then start studying, and that's what I end up doing, and it works really well for me because it helps me like get all the anxiety out that I have for the exam, just shooting the ball around, and then I come into the exam and I'm ready to sit down for 2 hours and write it.
But I love the way you and I'll admit it as well. We'll both admit we can get anxious. So admitting we get anxious, then we've got to solve that problem. That we've got to find a way to deal with it. But admitting it is the first thing. So we talked a bit about motivation. So during COVID in particular, I've been stuck in my office a lot. I'm not seeing people. I'm not going out, speaking or traveling. I love to travel the world with my work and with Dave. And basically, my motivation has been low. And so I've said to myself, so why do I want to work? Why should I work? And then I think to myself, well, I've set a goal. I want to visit this place next year once COVID's over. So if I don't work, I can't afford to visit the place. But motivation for me is also about, I love what I do. I love my clients. I love the people I mix with. And I'm sure you wouldn't be at college if you weren't enjoying it. So the motivation for you is obviously you're there for a reason. So even though sometimes because you're a whiz kid, you're able to just do the exam without studying as much as, say, I would, you want to be there, don't you? Nobody made you go to college, did they? It was your choice.
Yeah, so before I started college, I tried to do my clothing brand by myself, and I'm like, you know what? I don't have the skills for this. I'm going to go to school, see what I could learn, and then I'm going to come back to it when I'm like done. So that was my big motivation: is I'm going to go to school, learn as much as I can, and then hopefully by the end of it, I have enough information and knowledge to like launch my own company. And that's where my motivation came from. Just like running the company as well as going to school. There's times for everyone where your motivation is going to be low. It's just about being consistent as well, having the discipline to kind of still go to school even though you don't feel like you want to go, or posting on social media even when you don't want to, or opening your store up when you feel like you've had a really bad day and you just want to close it. It's all about the consistency, and that's a lot of things that entrepreneurs face every single day, is having that constant motivation even when things aren't going the way they want it to go. Just being able to be like, you know what, it's okay, it's just maybe a shitty day, or it's just not going today, but tomorrow I'll give it all I got again.
Yeah. So consistency, I love that word. I think it is very much about consistency. On the other hand, if we're not feeling motivated for a long time, if we don't want to get out of bed, if we're not sleeping well, not eating well, then maybe talk to somebody, maybe, your partner, your family, somebody at school, because as we both know, our mental health challenges, especially through COVID, are really bad at the moment. So we have to kind of recognize when we're not feeling motivated versus when we're having some mental health issues. And I want to take the stigma away from that and say it's okay to admit that we've got anxiety or depression, and the only way we'll get better is by dealing with it. But I think you've come up with some really good steps. I'm quite jealous that you came up with better steps than me. And you did, and I love that you admitted that. I meet so many people in business who think they know it all. Hope they're not listening. And they're the best thing since sliced bread. And what goes round comes around, but what old is new? No, what is new is old. One of those things. I always get myself. But the thing is this, it's okay to Google. But what did we do before Google? We must have had like an encyclopedia or something. But you are wise beyond your years. You really, really are. The fact that you've recognised that if you wanted to build a successful business, you needed to know more. You didn't say, "Oh, I know it all already." That's fantastic. That's a really good testament to you. And I'm sure your parents and family are proud as well that you took this step to better yourself in a way so you can have a more successful business. It's still going well, I guess, the clothing business, yeah?
It has its up and downs, but right now, because we're like a beach brand and we're really summer in Canada, I don't know if you guys know, from like November to February, it's usually snowing. So there's not a lot of sales on that one, and we can't market it as much as we want because we can't take all videos and stuff like at the beach. So once we get a warm day, we're going to be going out, taking videos, doing pop-up events and all that at Grand Bend, hopefully Sauble, having fun. So I'm really excited for that part.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I know there's shops in the malls that stay open all the time selling beachwear and stuff like that. But that's what they're there to do, and they have lots of sales. But I think their sales have been down a bit because of COVID and nobody's going to the beach or going on holidays. But it will pick up. And again, in a case like this, you've got to have faith and plan ahead. You're already planning ahead to go in and do the pictures for your business, which is wonderful. So what can we leave with our listeners, wise one? What other steps would you like to leave with them so that they can wake up motivated, happy, and ready to go?
I don't know if I have any more steps, just because I think I ran out of the Google search for that one. But I'd probably leave off by saying that everyone, like Elon Musk, people, Jeff Bezos, like we all have our ups and downs. You could ask them; they've all had their ups and downs, and it's just a matter of how we overcome that. Making sure that we understand when we can't take it anymore and we need to ask for help. Just knowing that limit and understanding that it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the one thing about entrepreneurs is we strive for perfection. Sometimes it's better to just get things out there, get the wheels rolling instead of waiting until perfection comes around, which usually like rarely ever does. And then you learn from that.
Excuse me, I'm quite perfect, so got a question. I got a question. You mentioned some very famous people. And you said we can ask them. Could you ask them for us because you seem to know these people?
I've seen them on podcasts talking about their ups and downs and how they had different like struggles when they started off their companies like PayPal and all that. And they brought up like the same issues where there were times where they were unmotivated or they faced challenges, and it's just a matter of getting out of it. But yeah, I wish I knew them personally. That'd be cool. If they're listening, reach out. You could be our guest.
Yay! What we don't realise, well, we realise, but a lot of people don't realise, these famous people, these celebrities, they're humans. They have their ups and downs. And just because we think they're famous now and they've made a big thing out of the businesses, they had to start somewhere. And so basically, we should look at them, read the stories like you have and I have, and think, well, if that's how they did it, we can do it too. And also, you said asking for help. I think that's very important. A lot of people won't ask for help because they do think it's weak, and it's not weak. I kind of love Richard Branson because he's very like me, but he's very rich and I'm not. But he loves his family. He loves sharing his stories, and I love doing that. And we come over as human to people, so people like us. And then there's people in business that won't give us the time of day. And you think to yourself, well, how did you get where you are if you're not really nice to people and you're not authentic? And I don't think they're in business very long, because eventually people look at them and go, well, you don't really care about your customers. You don't really care about, stuff like that. So what motivates me is for people to see who I really am, and I'm there to help if they need help. And even if they're not going to be my client, I still want to help them. So I'm very authentic and open like that. This has been so interesting. Have you ever thought about writing a book? I mean, I've written 3, but I mean, what can I say?
No, I haven't given it much thought. Writing. Usually English is not my strong suit, so when I'm texting and stuff, people always be like, "Yo, your grammar's off." But that's why I've never ever thought of writing a book. However, my friend is an English major, so if I would want to write a book, he'd help me out doing it. But
well, normally when I write books, I have an editor to edit all my mistakes because everybody makes mistakes. But I think it'd be really cool if you wrote a book called The Young Entrepreneur and shared how you started, all your ups and downs and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. So I'll look out for that book, Aaron.
Oh, my stress levels, they've gone up.
It's okay. I'm not going to make it. But that'd be good, wouldn't it? There's people out there who want to write books. And I've written 3 and it's not that hard. So we should maybe I ought to get somebody else to talk about how they did it. We've got an awesome guest coming next week, Aaron. You indicated it might be nice to have somebody talking about HR and what they're looking for, when they're hiring people. And so we have a lovely guest coming along next week, so that's going to be fun. And I think I'm going to have to let you get on with your empire now, your wonderful business, and I think I need a glass of wine. It's been one of those obstacle days. I've had a really good time again.
Yeah, same. I had a really good time as well. And thank you to all our listeners that are listening. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and Instagram. I think that's all the only 2 we have, right? Or do we have LinkedIn?
I think those are the main ones where we're spreading the word, because that's where our audience is, isn't it, really, if you think about the really nice people. Thanks for remembering that. I always forget that. So it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from Aaron.
Thanks for listening. Check us out at www.nextgenbusinesspodcast.com.